Hello there, my name's Annette with Sunbeam Fabric Art. Welcome to my channel. Recently, I cut up over 100 fat quarters and made lots of layer cakes and lots of jelly roll type bundles. And today we're working on layer cake 2 of 6, which is some pinks and some purples. When I started with this bundle, I already knew what I was going to make. I saw a little picture at a restaurant. It was some decoration and it just had this diamond shape in the middle that was pretty cool. And I thought, oh, I could do that with a layer cake. Okay, it's time to stop admiring this fabric, which I just love this bundle. I think it's so cool with the purples and the pinks. Anyway, let's move on. We're going to sort out these layer cakes. I like to get some contrast, and I know I'm going to be making 2 cuts, so each block will have 3 pieces. I'm going to be stacking these up 3 at a time. Actually, I'm going to be stacking up 6 together because I can cut pretty comfortably 6 deep. I'm trying to stack these up light, dark, light, dark, light, dark. Now, some of the lights are more medium, some of the darks are more medium. Once I get my stack of 6, we will cut, and I will take my time with this first cut to show you exactly what I'm doing. I'm using my cutting mat as my guide. I'm going to place my ruler down on that top edge. I'm going to have my ruler lined up right where the edge of the layer cake meets the 3-inch from the right line. And then from the bottom up, I want that ruler edge to meet the edge of the layer cake 2 inches up from the bottom. Now, I don't want to move my stack of layer cakes, but I do want to get that triangle out of the way. We have to imagine the layer cake is still whole. We're going to count down 3 inches from the right to line up the ruler on that mark, and then 2 inches from the top left, and then we'll make another cut to get a small wedge. Now we can mix up this group of 6 by taking the top of the large pieces and putting that on the bottom of the stack. And then on the larger wedge, I'm going to pick 2 and put those on the bottom of the stack. And when we put these back together, we'll have a quarter of a star that will become the center of a big 4-block giant block. I'm going to go through each of these stars because I want you to note that some of the stars will have the light on the outside and the dark on the inside, and some of the stars will have dark on the outside and light stars on the inside. So once we get them all stitched together, we'll want to sort out the light star blocks and the dark star blocks. You wouldn't have to, but the pattern I want to make, I'm going to need to sort them out. I stacked up all my sets over on the left, then I was ready to start chain piecing. I need to start sewing with the smaller wedge first because that was the second wedge we cut off. So we're going to put the smaller wedge onto that large piece first. We're going to stitch those right sides together with a 1/4-inch seam, but I want to show you exactly how I'm doing this. I've got this right sides together. Now the question is, where do we have the 1/4-inch overhang? We'll only be able to have a 1/4-inch overhang on one side, and I want that side to be overhanging on the seam that's going to happen next. So I want that to be that where that bigger triangle is going to go. That's where I want my little triangle to have a 1/4 inch overhang. So I get a nice straight edge to stitch on that next triangle. I wanted to give you a quick demo of what will happen if you don't have that 1/4 inch overhang. It's not the end of the world. It just means your two edges are not going to line up together. So when you sew on that next piece, you'll have to either do it at an angle or trim first. I found it easiest to put my pieces together, then flip them over so that small wedge is on the bottom and I can see that 1/4 inch overhang there, and then put this seam under the needle. And you can see that little end, there is going to be quite a bit trimmed off on that side. That's okay. I've got a nice straight edge there to add my second wedge. I'm placing that larger triangle right sides together, and I'm making sure that 1/4 inch overhang is right there at the top for me. Feel free to go back and watch that section again. I'm going to go through and chain piece the smaller wedge on everything. As I do that, I'm keeping the groups of the larger triangles in the same order as I am stitching. I did want to give you one last slower look at how I'm putting that first wedge on. I grab the pieces exactly as I cut them, flip them both over, and then they go right sides together with that small wedge underneath, the 1/4 inch overhang at the top of my seam. I guess my main tip would be just to remember that you want that overhang to be on the line that you're going to be adding the next piece to, and that is a good way to try and remember where that overhang needs to be. Another tip, if you are a beginner to these angles, you can clip your pieces in place, at least put 2 or 3 clips in until you get used to sewing them. And just remember, the worst thing that could happen is that you would trim your block a little bit smaller. It's not a huge deal if they're not exactly straight. I did go ahead and chain piece the rest of this stack, getting that larger triangle attached. Once I was done with that, I took everything to the ironing board and I pressed all of these blocks nice and flat. Now it's time to trim the blocks. Before I started cutting, I checked the sizes of several blocks to see what I was going to be trimming these blocks to, and they're all going to be trimmed to 9 inches. I was careful when trimming these blocks to start with that 1/4 star in the lower left. I'm making sure that overhangs the 9-inch lines on the left and the bottom. Then I can trim away the right and the top. I can flip my block around the opposite way, and now I can trim to an exact 9-inch block, losing very little of my 1/4 star. I'm taking my time here with these first couple of blocks, but feel free again to go back and watch this trimming section again if you want to. Once I had all the blocks trimmed, I did a little bit of shuffling, and then I started sorting them into the piles of light stars and dark stars. I drew my layout on paper here, and what you can see is I've got my blocks, my super blocks that are made with 4 of the smaller blocks. I've got those labeled with L, D, L for light, and D for dark. So I'm going to have light, light, and then on the next row I'm going to have dark, light, dark, and on the third row I'm going to have light, light again, and the last row will be arranged to fit the pattern. One thing to note, these star points will not match because of the way we put them together. I've got these mega blocks laid out so I can chain piece the top 2 blocks together and then the bottom 2 together, and then I will flip the top down to the bottom to make the mega block. We'll set aside those extra 6 blocks for now and worry about those later. Well, we'll chain piece the rest of these on high speed. Well, I broke the chain and then I put 2 pairs together to form that star in the middle. If you want to be sure that that center seam matches up, you can use a clip to make sure that seam is nesting, make sure it's going to stay even with the other pair. Once all 9 of the giant blocks were together, I started putting them together in rows of 3 and just following my plan where I did light, light, and then the opposite, and then the opposite again. Now it's time to put a couple of rows together. I'm going to make sure I have opposite rows here and not putting the same row together next to the same row. I put a couple of clips in here as I started, but then I realized I really didn't think I needed them, so I didn't use any more after the first 1 or 2. But again, if you're newer to quilting, I would recommend using lots and lots of clips. Keep everything together until you can get it under the needle. That way it's not going to shift and wiggle around on you and frustrate you. Next, I added that 3rd row of the giant blocks, again making sure it was not getting attached in the wrong way. It needs to be attached to a row that has the opposite layout. As this quilt is getting bigger, it's also getting heavier, which causes it to shift and wiggle around more. So now at this point, I do want to use clips and keep everything straight. Now I did go ahead and stitch those 6 extra blocks together in the right order, so I'm going to go ahead and flip this quilt top around to the opposite side and clip on that extra row of just 6 of the smaller blocks. And the last thing to do is stitch those 2 seams. Then I stitched all the way around the outside of the quilt with a stay stitch to keep all the seams from coming apart until it gets to be a finished quilt. Once I got all the way around the quilt, I did take this to the iron and I pressed the quilt top nice and flat with some steam. Here's that look at our finished quilt top today. I love the way the secondary pattern is the circles. So we've got the stars, but we've also got those circles happening. It's almost like an optical illusion to me, where the circles just suddenly appear when you're not looking at them. I love the pinks. I love the purples. I'm excited about this quilt. I think some little kid is just going to love it. Leave me a comment if you'd like, and if you're the type of person who would make this if you had a pattern, leave a note for me in the comments. I can easily whip up a pattern and get that out on my Etsy shop for this easy 2-cut star. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you back again real soon.